Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com here with some good news for anybody who's been waiting to download some raw DNG files from the Sony A1. And the good news is I have a beta converter that allows me to take the raw files from the camera and convert them to DNGs and then look at them in Adobe Lightroom. Now, if you want to download them, you can go over to FroKnowsPhoto.com/A1DNG where you can download those raw files. Keep in mind, this is from a beta converter, so it's not the finished one, but I think the files are looking pretty darn good. You can download those files. You can pixel peep to your heart's content. There's everything from 100 ISO all the way up to 20,000. Now, while you're over on the website, if you haven't signed up for my email address, just look for this orange box, put your name, email address in it, hit send it, and I will send you a free guide to capturing motion in low light situations. Now, let's jump into the first shot. Here is the first picture done at 1/1000th of a second at f1.8, 4000 ISO. We're gonna zoom in 1:1, and I think it looks great. Remember, we're shooting at 1.8 and the eye looks perfectly fine. Is this grain? The answer is sure. Are we zoomed in 1:1, which is an extreme amount? The answer is absolutely. Keep in mind, when you go 1:1, you are blowing it up to an extreme amount. The more megapixels you have, the further you're going in 1:1. This looks perfectly fine for me at 4000 ISO. The colors look fine, the tones look fine, the sharpness, even at 1.8, looks fantastic to me. Now, moving on to the next shot, it's right after that quarterback was throwing. We tracked him. He has a hat on, he's got the mask on, and we're at 4000 ISO, and you're going to see grain when you zoom in. That is not a problem at all. I think the answer we're looking for to definitely answer between is the A1 better than the a7R IV? It's 50 megapixels versus 61 megapixels. And when we get to the final review, we'll go over all of that. But this, remember, is just to give you a first look at these raw files to download and pixel peep to your heart's content. This one is 6400 ISO. We zoom in. We wait for it to load, and boom, it loads. I'm shooting at 12 millimeters. Remember, when you zoom in on something that's super wide, you may see some grain in the face. I say that because, look, this one I filled the frame more, and it's also 100 ISO, and we're gonna go over this one in just a minute, but I just want you to see there's a difference. When you zoom in and you're this close, you're filling up the frame with more pixels. Anyway, at 6400 ISO, to me, this is great. I have no problem with it whatsoever. The moral of the story is I just want a camera that lets me go out and shoot. It looks good at higher ISOs, it looks good at low ISOs, it shoots quick, the autofocus works great, and that's what I care about. I don't care about pixel peepers. I don't care about the scientific reasons behind certain things. I care about getting the images, and that's what you guys should care about as well. Now, I'm not trying to say this doesn't look good, because I think this looks perfectly great to me. It's better than the a7R IV was at higher ISOs, and that's what I care about. Next is the 20,000 ISO. Yes, 1/2000th of a second at f2.8 at 20,000. Very rarely are you going to find yourself at 20,000 ISO. This is fine. If you blew this up to a poster print, I still don't think people would know that it is 20,000 ISO. Now, I saw some comments before when I put this picture up in the intro video, and people thought that there was banding. This isn't banding in the background. This is actually the netting out of focus in the background. Because when we go back to this picture, you can see on the back wall, there is netting along the back wall. So that is not banding, that is just the netting in the back. Tracking him at 2.8, this was with the 400 2.8, this worked out perfectly fine. Look, that's great. 20,000 ISO, totally usable. And look, I normally wouldn't be I could be at 10,000 ISO at 1/1000th of a second, but I just wanted to go ahead and give you that image. This is just showing you at 12 to 24 again. This one's at 3200. I just wanted to give you an ultra wide angle in a slightly different lit situation. And there you can download that file. I talk a lot about the 135 being a gorgeous lens. Look at how sharp it is right on his eyeball. That's at f2.2. This is why I love this lens more than the 70 to 200 2.8. Now we're at 200%. Of course you're gonna start to see imperfections, but 200%. I don't even know what size the print would need to be to have it sit right here and have it be that big. This is great. I love the way that this file looks. I'm very happy with those results. Now, You guys want to see outdoors. This one was at 1000 ISO. I was off by about a stop and a quarter. This is what it looked like unedited. Why was I off by a stop and a quarter? Because he ran, as he got closer, there was an overhang that blocked some of the light, and I was just off. But that's bringing it back. We zoom in, and I think this looks fantastic. Eyes look great. 1000 ISO, who cares? Looks great. Now we've got 100 ISO at 1/250th of a second. Zoom in on this bad boy. He's looking good. Eyes are nice and sharp at 1.8. I really love how this file looks, but you guys can pixel peep to your heart's content and go ahead and download it. This is a day later when it stopped snowing and we got little Daniel out here again to play, but now we're at 100 ISO clean. Look how nice that is. That one looks fantastic. Now what I want to do with this one is run it through a couple of presets from FroPack 2 Apollo, and I think that looks good. Bob Ross for people, boom. We've got Charmin is nice and soft, you know, because that's what it is with Charmin. Gritty low contrast. Here's gritty low contrast right there. It's gritty as hell, and then gritty with grain. If you want to add it, you get that look. But check this out. We've got 3 matte blacks right here. We've got matte black high contrast, and matte black low contrast. Now, I know I always say that we have 15 all new custom Lightroom presets. The truth of the matter is we actually include 27 of them in FroPack 2. We just don't want to say that we have 27 of them and then having slight differences. We rather sell it as 15, and then you get surprised when there's 27 different presets. You can check them out at FroKnowsPhoto.com/FroPack2. While you're over there, play with the sliders to check out the befores and the afters. If you decide to pick them up right now, they're still on sale right before FroPack 3 comes out. But if you'd like to get the bundle for 1 and 2, you can save even more. This next shot, I just love how he looks. We got the 100 ISO. We zoom in. It is gorgeous. This file looks fantastic. I'm happy with the results, which is really what I care about, and I hope you guys are happy with the results too. And the last couple, I went and photographed a sushi chef, as I've said. This was just me going out and shooting for fun, so I was at 500 ISO on this. I'm giving you that file. I'm giving you this next file, which is the 12-24. And when I zoom in on this, I'm still trying to figure out, is it back focused? I think it actually may be slightly back focused because the timers on the cabinet over there look to be sharper than he is, but he still looks perfectly sharp. And the last shot that I want to include is this one, which was done with the Sigma 35 1.2, shot at 1.2. I think it's pretty darn close. Printing this out, even in a poster size, I don't think anybody would say that it's out of focus. It's darn close at 1.2, and I think it looks sharp to me on the eyeballs right there. So again, as a reminder, you can go over to FroKnowsPhoto.com/A1DNG to download the sample DNG RAW files so you can pixel peep to see what you think about them. You've got 100 ISO, you've got 6400 ISO, you've got 20,000 ISO, and some of them in between as well. Keep in mind, this is a beta converter, but I think everything looks perfectly fine. We're gonna have more videos coming out in the future. I just wanted to get this one out to you so that you could play with these files and see what you think. And that's it. Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya.